I'm be making a dish from a medley of vegetables that proves it's not just potatoes that makes a great chip.
This is my mixed vegetable chips with homemade basil mayonnaise.
You will need, for the chips, potatoes, parsnips, red beetroot, candy striped beetroot, and golden beetroot. And I'm going to be making a lovely basil homemade mayonnaise. And for that, you'll need yolks from the eggs, white wine vinegar, squeeze of lemon, water, rapeseed oil or canola oil, and then, of course, some fresh basil through it at the end. And we'll be drizzling the chips with some truffle oil. So first of all, make the chips. Take some potatoes. Now, Maris Piper or King Edwards are great spuds for chipping. Now, I want them all to be the same size, so they look good, but also so they cook evenly. Now, for our parsnips, and you wouldn't think to make chips out of parsnips, but they work really well, and they've got a lovely sweet taste. And don't throw away the trimmings, because you can always make a good soup out of them. So I'm using the potato as a marker, just so they stay all the same. Right, now for the beetroot, and this for me is the fun part of it. I've got 3 different types of beetroot, because they've all got different flavours, but they all look different, so it's going to add great colour. And this is candy striped beetroot, and inside, look at that. You won't be able to get it in supermarkets, but you can get it in farmers' markets, and these are the people that really care about their produce. And why wouldn't you want to buy that and cook with it? I'm just going to peel it, use my marker. The golden beetroot has a really sweet flavour, and also when you cook it, it doesn't bleed at all. Look at these smells and colours are lovely. And then last of all, the more traditional red beetroot. And we all know what's inside here, and a lovely, lovely deep red colour. And there you go, my production line of chips. So now let's do the first stage of cooking. We want to blanch them off. But I'm going to blanch them in oil. And I've got the fryer heated up to about 160 degrees here. The reason why it's not a high temperature is because we don't want to cook it too much. So the idea is to cook once, take them out, turn the heat up, and then cook them again to really fry them. So we've got a lovely fluffy inside and the outside crispy. And we're now going to blanch them for about 7 to 8 minutes until just softened. And with the chips blanching away, let's start on the mayonnaise. Just take 2 eggs, and all you need is the yolk. And now to it, for some acidity, I can add a little bit of white wine vinegar and a touch of water, and you want to whisk the yolks together with the vinegar. And now a quick tip is to take a tea towel and run under cold water, then lay it underneath the bowl, and it's going to stop it slipping and sliding and spinning around when you whisk. So let's just check the chips. And they've just blanched away nicely. And look at the colours in there. All we've done is just cook them through. Right, continue with the mayonnaise. Now I'm going to start to add the oil. Now I'm using rapeseed oil or canola oil for this. Just start whisking in slowly, a little bit at a time, and you'll see it start to emulsify and start to thicken. You get a lovely mayonnaise body and an achy wrist. And then to finish it off, I'm going to take some basil leaves and look, just thin little strips, and then just add the basil to the bowl. And I'm just going to add a squeeze of lemon as well, a touch of salt and some pepper, and then just fold through. And that is your basil mayonnaise. It couldn't be simpler. Now this will last up to 3-4 days in the fridge. So just put it in an airtight container, pop a lid on it, and pop it in the fridge. Now let's carry on with the chips. So I've now turned the fryer up to a high heat, about 180 degrees Celsius, 360 degrees Fahrenheit. What we want to do now is really fry these chips and get a lovely crispy coating. So a very intense heat. And then after 3 minutes, look, that's exactly what you want. I'm going to let them drain on the paper, just to get rid of any excess oil. And now I'm just going to season with salt. Now I want this dish to look really inviting, so I'm just going to pile them high. And just think of the flavours. You've got potatoes, parsnips, 3 types of beetroot. And as I'm building up, I'm kind of playing chip Jenga. And then add some of this lovely basil mayonnaise. And then last of all, I'm going to drizzle with some truffle oil. And there it is, my chip and dip. First of all, let's just dip in here. The chips are really crunchy and so many flavours. Lovely. And of course, just like Mike with his truffle sauce, the truffle oil just really lifts the chips. I mean, this is a wonder dish on its own. Chips with homemade basil mayonnaise.